All right, we are back in for game number 2 between Weak and Twerk and Final Boss and Company. Welcome back, folks. My name is Joshua Fekes Quest here with Esports High's Grand Finals of their League of Legends Spring Tournament. Weak and Twerk did take game number 1, as you can tell, the handy overlays by, I think that's Master Juice who made those. Thank you. Master Juice. It is an A at the end of that name, not an ER. Either way, clumping going up from both sides of the teams here, or both sides of the jungle, I should say. Yellow Paco did start out with that death sentence. Let's see what no team's gonna find anybody here. Heavy defense on the bot side of Weak and Twerk's jungle, guarding their red. That is where small Brawly, or Big Brawly, I should say. That's where Big Brawly is going to start out at. Meanwhile, we might be seeing an invade here. A little bit of a steal. I think small Brawly is going to have vision on him, though. That's one of the benefits, or one of the disadvantages, I should say, of these new times on the warding totems starting out. Can't get a ward out in there. I think he saw him, though. I'm not really sure, but either way, he's going to make his way to the top lane. That is going to be a blue buff down for Big Brawly on his side of the jungle. We'll see if he goes over to the other side to pick it back up. Oh, it looks like we are going to have a lane switch here. This is how you deal with a Rise, especially when you're a Shin. Very well played. Very well played by Final Boss and Company. Knowing that the Rise and the Shin, knowing a Rise against a Shin, a Rise would most definitely win. They're going to take advantage of that. And lane switch here. Blaster 828 going to hang out. Looks like Fabin just going in for some experience there, while Opops goes to help Big Brawly steal the blue back. So both blues being stolen. Everything's right in the world. No worries. Easy peasy, easy life, easy game. So one of the big differences here, actually looks like there's a taunt onto Blaster 828. He's gonna take a turret shot, and that's not, so is Opops. Not how you want to start that 2v1. So the one thing about a Rise is that he can actually farm underneath turret very well. He has a very low mana cost on his Q. And that allows him to actually farm into the turret very easily. But it looks like there's going to be 3-man strong in favor of Final Boss and Company in the top lane. They're going to look to shove this turret as much as possible. Small Brawly can't really do too much about it. It's going to force Big Brawly either down the bot lane to reciprocate it, or in the top lane to try to defend it. But it's still going to be 2v3 in the top lane. He'd be better off going the bot lane, but he's going to go into this top lane, try to defend it. There is a little bit of aggression onto Yellow Paco. They can't hold him down. He takes a turret shot as well. Well, Opop's getting caught with the taunt, but it's going to be right out of the tower range. Not much going to happen there. Blaster 828 once again taking a turret shot, but I guess having Opops there on the Nami, you have plenty of sustain for any kind of turret shot. So there's vision on both junglers right now. No lanes are actually, well, all lanes are kind of at ease knowing where the jungler's at, knowing that especially in the bot lane, Blaster 828 and Opop's going to overextend all they want to their little heart's desire. Opop's going to take another turret shot. He needs to watch out. And yeah, small and Big Brawly going to try to defend the top lane, but they cannot do it. Metal Chocobo taking a turret shot for his efforts, but so damage done on the top lane turret. And like I said, this would have been best reciprocated by Big Brawly going down into the bot lane, just shoving in the turret as well. I don't know how much, so yeah, I'm not even going to watch that. There's a turret going down in the top lane. Opops and Blaster 828 has the bot lane turret halfway down, which is not going to be enough. And it looks like Final Boss and Company are just going to keep shoving right now, or maybe even invade into the jungle. No, they're just going to ward out, and they're going to go right in onto this inner top lane turret. We see this all the time in the LCS. I mean, this sort of thing does happen. Oh, it looks like Metal Chocobo blocking out that Vault Breaker. Oh, and Famine having to shove, use his flash. That might actually be the pressure relieved in the bot lane and allow Weak and Twerk to get a tower of their own. But yeah, we see this all the time in LCS. 3 men strong in both top lane and bot lane from either side. And they both just start shoving turrets as fast as possible. And of course, we didn't see Big Brawly go to bot lane. We saw him trying to defend in the top lane. I mean, and to the credit, it worked a little bit, not too much. Both turrets are down. Both bot lane and top lane turrets are down. But there's more damage on the top inner lane turret in favor of Final Boss & Company right now, as Metal Chocobo decided to stay up there a little bit longer. It's like Opop's going to make his way into the top lane. Small Brawly does have the teleport, so he can teleport bot lane, no problem. It might be making a 2v2 right now. Opop's is, actually, it's Small Brawly going to go back. At least it looked like it. He has enough money for his Tear of the Goddess. And that's the one thing about Rise. Even if you are shoved into an unfortunate situation like that, as long as you get that Tear of the Goddess, you can at least start transitioning yourself into the mid game, no matter what, because you're stacking that item, you're stacking up mana, and you start transitioning, start stacking up power. That is one of the things that you constantly, as a Rise, you constantly scale, especially if you have a tier on your side. So while he is down in CS, he's actually ahead of CS against Famine right now. So that is actually advantage to him. But even if he wasn't, he has that tier now. There's Deathmark going in onto Kale, but there's the intervention coming out. Going to negate most of the damage from it. The Deathmark does pop, but doesn't do too much. I think Deanbot should have known better on that one. I think he did. Just wanted to force the intervention out, as Big Brawly is there. Not level 6 though, only level 5. It looks like first dragon of the game, maybe going over to First Blood and for a Final Boss & Company. My bad. As there's no vision on there on the dragon from Weak and Twerk, and that is the first dragon being picked up, same as last time, last game. Final Boss & Company did pick up the first dragon as well. They're going to shove a little bit of that gold advantage over to their side. And of course, early dragons are worth more than, of course, First Blood, things like that. And there's actually 4 men strong. Excuse my interruption and a thought here. There's 4 men strong in the bot lane from Final Boss & Company. Weak and Twerk going to reciprocate with 3 men in the bot lane. Meanwhile, the top lane is just completely exposed for Blastery 2H to just hit on the turret. No problem. There's no teleport coming out from Final Boss & Company. So the turret is actually almost down. I don't really know what Final Boss & Company are doing right now with the turret, the turret pushing, the sieging that they're doing. Famine, I should say. Famine is going to make his way into the top lane, but I think Blaster 828 can take that turret before he gets up there. Yeah, he doesn't. Blaster 828 doesn't have any mana, but the turret is down. So the turret advantage is actually in the favor of Weak and Twerk right now, which I did not see coming. I think it was a little bit misplayed putting 4 men bot in the 4 men in the bot lane for Final Boss & Company. You don't really need that many down there, because then you leave it a lane exposed like that, and you lose a turret for nothing. So Dragon was picked up, but I mean the turret advantage is over onto Weak and Twerk right now, and that does swing the gold favor. Gold lead in their favor, I should say. It's not going to be much, barely even noteworthy, 200, but it's there. And I mean, moral of the story: Final Boss & Company lost their lead. So Deanbot going to get aggressive on a little bit, not too much though. He's going to throw out a Q, get a little bit more damage, or a little bit of. Answer back a little bit of that damage. So because Big Brawly has been not grouping with 2 or more of his teammates, he's actually ahead in levels of Metal Chocobo. It's actually kind of interesting. I don't think it's going to make too much of a difference right now. He does have that extra, of course, that extra damage on whatever ability he's leveling. It's probably more likely his Vault Breaker, because that's what most Vi's do levels. Yeah, just have a little bit of extra damage on that Vault Breaker. Oh, looks like there is going to be some aggression onto Yellow Paco here. Opop's going to land the bubble here. There's On the Hunt coming out from Blaster 828. Paranoia coming out along with Stand United as well. First Blood does go over to Blaster 828. Now it's still 3v3 though. There's Assault and Battery going on to Metal Chocobo. Opop's being taken low, as is Blaster 828, but there's a flash being forced out. Small Brawly actually teleported in there. Meanwhile, Tidal Wave coming out. Blaster 828 picking up another kill. A double kill. That was actually a triple kill in that entire fight. Very well played by Weak and Twerk. Final Boss & Company looked like they had the numbers advantages with the Stand United coming out and the Paranoia, but the teleport from Small Brawly making all the difference, and the Do-Si-Do from Deanbot going back and forth. Gonna fake out, takes G a little bit, and he's gonna flash out of there. Very tricky, that Zed. So action going in the mid lane and the bot lane, but it's all going to favor of Weakened Twerk, and that's the moral of the story. They are ahead by 4 now in kills, also ahead in turrets. That was just a little bit misplayed by Final Boss and company, especially on those turrets. Like I said, I can't stress that enough. Really, it's quite the loss that they took there. That was a turret for nothing, when they could have more likely been able to defend it. But either way, Small Brawly using that teleport very well, picking up the advantage in that bot lane, and actually picking himself a kill. So he's ahead in farm right now, as well as kills and assists of Famin, which is what we want to pay attention to. Despite the lane swaps here, it still is top lane versus top lane, and both of them are going to be competing for transition into the mid game. And right now, Small Brawly is winning. Looks like Opops is going to help out Deanbot in the mid lane here. Famin be looking to defend here, but he can only do so much. Big Brawly also making his way over here. He's going to go back to the jungle. So it's like they do have, they're 3 men strong in favor of Twerk. Actually 3v3 in the mid lane right now. Paranoia is not up, but Assault and Battery actually not up either, but it's almost up. Big Brawly is going to be looking to go back. Not sure if that's going to be real or not, but actually it looks like it is. They're not going to be sieging out of this mid lane turret. Small Brawly's teleport is down, so he's just going to go bot lane. That is one of the things also about ending laning phase early. When you're a Rise, you don't want laning phase to end early. You need to stay in lane, you need to use that Q, you need to farm up your tier as much as possible. But with that being said though, he already has a Catalyst of the Protector and the Blasting Wand, so he's actually got quite a bit of power behind him already, and almost has enough money. Oh, there's a nice bubble landing. Opop's pretty solid on that bubble. Almost has enough, has both the components for Rod of Ages, which is, like I said, another big transitioning item to the mid game for Rise. Small Brawly looking to transition as early as possible. He actually, like I said, has the potential to get a pretty early Rod of Ages right now. And that'll shove his power spike a lot earlier. And like I said, as a Rise, you don't really stop. You don't really stop transition. You don't really stop getting more powerful. Deanbot going in onto Tekchi. He's going to take a little bit of damage for his efforts there, though. So yeah, as I said, you don't really stop scaling as a Rise. You always farm something. You always get mana. You're always scaling something, and that's going to be Small Brawly starting it early here. And the dragon is up. And Weakened Twerk looking to secure this one. There's no vision from Final Boss and company, so they're going to try to answer back that dragon with the mid lane turret, which I believe mid lane turret is a little bit more important at this point. You do get a lot more map control coming out from mid lane turret, but they actually were not able to get it. And there's a Death Sentence landing onto Small Brawly. And the Tidal Wave not really going to... Actually, no, it does hit 2 people, and that's actually 1 bubble. That's not double bubble. Here's comes Stand United onto Yellow Paco, and Small Brawly gets melted very quickly into that fight. Chihani not being in a good position. Deanbot does take him out there. Meanwhile, Big Brawly there. It is a 4v2 right now in favor of Weakened Twerk. Deanbot just falling, I think, to an ignite there. So that was actually a 4 for 2. I thought that was actually very surprising, but especially with Small Brawly falling as fast. I thought the double bubble hit from Opops, but it only hit single bubble. Apparently, it was enough. So Takchi falling there as well, and that will be a mid lane turret going down in favor of Weakened Twerk. 3 turrets to 2 now. And so far, the team fight synergy a lot more in favor of Weakened Twerk. They are 8 kills to 2, 3 turrets to 2, as I just said as well. 23k to 18.9k. Might as well call it 9k or 19k. So yeah, Weakened Twerk correcting their early game situation from last game, where they kind of fell behind. They actually had a little bit of a rough early game when Final Boss and company took advantage, but they weren't able to bring it around to team fights. But this time around, Weakened Twerk fixing their problems, getting that early game advantage, and yeah, taking advantage of every small mistake that Final Boss and company makes. And Small Brawly, they did finish up that Rod of Ages at 15 minutes, so he's gonna be charging that up very early. becoming a little bit more tanky early on with that health from Rod of Ages as well. Not to mention increases power. With the ability power and the mana, Rod of Ages is the perfect item for a Rise. And of course, you see some people troll around, build 5 Rod of Ages and some boots, or tier, on a Rise. It's a funny build, but the thing is, it actually works. It's a very funny and stupid build, but it works because once you get a Rise with 5 Rod of Ages charged up, not only is he super tanky with health, but he has a huge amount of power. It's like over like 5,000 mana, I think, 4,000, something like that. Because like I said, if you do get that extra tier, you actually have like 5,000 mana. It's a huge amount of power with a Rise. Of course, you also see Civ HD doing that same thing with LeBlanc. But no LeBlanc in this game. It's actually irrelevant. But either way, it happens. Trolley build, but it does work. Just takes a while to get going. I doubt we'll be seeing that from Small Brawly. Either way, speaking of Small Brawly, his teleport is up. Oh, and Opop's getting aggressed on a little bit here. He's not the tanky Leona like last game. It's a very squishy fish, in fact, this game. Oh, and there's aggression going on in the mid lane from Deanbot and Big Brawly. Intervention coming out, but is it going to be enough to save him? Paranoia coming out as well, and the Thresh Express is there. Big Brawly being put out of position. Doesn't have the displacement like Deanbot has, where he can switch back and forth between shadows. Big Brawly be giving himself up pretty cleanly there. Being a little bit cocky, not being able to turret dive yet. Although Big Brawly decided to not go for the Brutalizer early on after the Elder Lizard. Actually, the Elder Lizard going straight into... Oh, actually, Intervention is down, but there's a hook onto Opops. Not much to follow it up, though. And there's the... Oh, there's the Tidal Wave. Yellow Paco going to pick up the kill. There wasn't much to follow up the hook, though, because the bubble landed on the Yellow Paco. Didn't allow him to launch himself in there, but Opops... I think he flashed. He actually flashed kind of into the team. I was surprised the way he flashed, and that allowed Final Boss and Company, Yellow Paco specifically, pick up the kill onto that one. But, yeah, as I was saying, though, Big Brawly looking to build that Randuin's early this game. Decided his health bar was a little bit too fragile last game. Gonna be trying to change that one up. Building the components for the Randuin's right after the Elder Lizard. So Deanbot already has the Bilgewater Cutlass and the Brutalizer, so he has a lot of single target damage, a lot of penetration as well. Oh, and you know, I actually said this during Champion Select. I'm told that my Champion Select casting is actually muted. I don't remember why. I don't remember if it is or not. But either way, in case you didn't hear me, I'm calling this about 18 minutes too late because, like I said, I don't know if you guys heard this, but on Final Boss and Company, there's actually been some role swaps. Jahoney was in the jungle, and he decided to go. He went to ADC. You know, Metal Chocobo going from mid lane to the jungle, and then Takchi going from ADC to the mid lane. So yeah, I didn't call that because I actually did in the Champion Select, but like I said, don't know if you guys heard me because I was told it was muted. Not sure if it is. Either way, calling it again. There are some role swaps coming out from Final Boss and Company. So yeah, that actually causes Weakened Twerk to have to adapt to certain play styles. And of course, on the other side of that, it also forces Final Boss and Company to have to adapt their own play style from the previous role they played. Of course, you know, Metal Chocobo going from a very heavy-oriented mid-lane farm game last game to the jungle. A little bit can be hectic on some people. They're playing it out very well. Small Brawly taking quite a CS lead over Famin so far early in this mid game. The shades of the last game as well. Or no, actually no. Famin actually was able to take out the. Yeah, no. Famin was actually able to take the early CS game last game against Small Brawly, who was in the Shyvana, but. Small Brawly was able to scale into the team fight very well with Shyvana. But this time around, Small Brawly not going to let the CS advantage get ahead of him. Paranoia coming out onto Blaster 828. On the hunt is popped. And Famin and Metal Chocobo get knocked back with the Vault Breaker and the Tidal Wave. Here comes Teleport from Small Brawly. He's going to get in there with Rise and do some AoE damage as well. Flash being popped by Metal Chocobo to try to get out of there. Jehuni barely making it out with his health bars, but everyone else's health bars being dropped as well. Final Boston Company just does not have the team fight that they're looking for, and Small Brawly and Deanbot looking to pick up a kill on the Famin and do find it on the way of Deanbot. In every team fight that Final Boston Company have been fighting here, they have lost 3 or 4 members. They're able to pick out members of Weekend Twerk, but all upfront team fights, they are outright losing. At 20 minutes, they've already lost 3 team fights, and it's 12-4 right now, and the mid lane inhibitor is going to fall. Like I said, at 21 minutes, that's a very early inhibitor for Weekend Twerk to take. Oh, it looks like Small Brawly going to stick in there a little bit longer. His health bar does melt, and he's going to go down to the Ignite. Metal Chocobo actually picks up the kill. Talisman Ascension being popped. So the rest of Weekend Twerk going to be making it out. Ace in the hole, not going to be enough to take out Big Brawly, though. And even though the kills were reciprocated there, or at least answered back a little bit, 2 of them answered back, it's not going to be enough damage done to Final Boston Company. Their mid lane inhibitor is down. That means that a lot of map control does go over to Weekend Twerk, and the super minions are going to be pushing into the base. And at this early level, the super minions are going to hurt. But with the overextension of Weekend Twerk, that's going to allow Final Boston Company to pick up this Baron. It's going down a little bit, kind of slowly. Big Brawly is making his way over. I don't think he's going to be able to pick it up. No, Smite does go over to Metal Chocobo. So the 5-man Baron does go over to Final Boston Company. So they may be able to win a team fight with this Baron. Either way, like I said, they're going to have a lot of base pressure onto their onto the mid lane, coming in from the mid lane. Oops. Archangel Staff being completed by Small Brawly. He has 536 stacks for his tier, for his staff. Pops his ult to get to the top lane a little bit faster. Not really sure if it was necessary, but he's going to be doing quite a bit of wave clearing there. He's about 50. He's actually over 50 CS up on the on Famin right now. While Famin, I mean, like I said, top lane tanky character, you champion, you don't really need that much CS, but you don't need to be 50 CS down. That's quite a deficit. And that is one reason why his health bars are melting. Small Brawly has been transitioning into this mid-game. It's not even mid-game. It's actually approaching mid-game. It's getting to about the 25-minute mark. Laning phase typically ends around this time, but there's barely a laning phase in general from either team. There's Bubble landed on Jehuni, and they're going to go right in on this one. Intervention going to be placed on Jehuni after the Assault and Battery, and there's a tidal wave coming out. Small Brawly does pick up Yellow Paco. Stand United not going to be doing too much for the health bars. Everyone is falling on Final Boston Company. Famin by himself now. He's going to get locked down by the Vault Breaker. Barrier being popped by Blaster 828 to try to mitigate the turret damage that he was taking. It's not going to be enough. Another 4 for 1. Another 4 for whatever in favor of Weekend Twerk. They are, even with the Baron on Final Boston Company, Weekend Twerk able to win these team fights almost effortlessly. There is so much power coming out from them. And it takes a while for a Kale to really find her power. Oh, there's Deathmark. Gonna find its death. Deathmark on Deanbot. Yellow Paco does get the shutdown on that one. Exhaust goes down to Big Brawly. He's gonna Vault Breaker right out of there and then just walk away. He does have tier 2 boots. Not much is gonna stop him right now. So yeah, I mean, yo, Takshi is really the only late game mass for Final Boston Company. Of course, you do have that Shin, who can transition to the late game and be a huge wall, huge tank with a short cooldown on the taunt once you get a couple items under your belt. But he's not farming, he's not getting assists. He doesn't really have much in the way of gold, only 6,000 right now. Compare that to everyone else on Weekend Twerk. Even Opops is beating him right now in gold. So it's going to be a very delayed transition into mid to late game for Kale and for Shin. And that's not boding very well for Final Boston Company, because every mistake, every team fight that they lose, they're losing turrets. They have the top lane inhibitor exposed. Mid lane inhibitor has already been taken down. It's about to be come back up, but it was taken down in about 21 minutes. That's a very early inhibitor. And that's a lot of pressure they have not been able to answer back so far. And the gold lead, the itemization is getting out of control. and going in favor of Weekend Twerk. Dragon's going to be up in 25 seconds, but you have to wonder, is Dragon even worth it at this point? When they can win team fights with the enemy on, with the Final Boss and company on, with a Baron, I should say. I mean, there's really no reason to spread the gold lead when you could just go in for the kill, and that's what they're doing right now. Small Brawly is not with them, has teleport up though, so all he needs is a ward to be thrown down. Actually, he's going to go up there. He's going to save his teleport, and they're going to go in on this top lane inner turret. Or inner inhibitor. Hook does land onto Blaster 828, and there's the engagement from Deanbot, putting the actually Jahuni does pick up Deanbot onto that kill though, did put the death mark onto Jahuni, but nothing else really happening here. So Final Boss and company actually did play that one well. In fact, I would actually say, oh, there's a flash coming out from middle. Chocobo getting very aggressive. Intervention goes down onto him, and there's the ace in the hole going on a Small Brawly as well. They're not able to finish him off, and Fatman getting a little bit tankerized at Spectral's Cow and the Randuins. Still really nothing happened, but a flash wasted from Metal Chocobo, getting very aggressive, very in the face of Weekend Twerk. So that was actually misplayed from Weekend Twerk more than it was played right by Final Boss and company. Deanbot engaged by himself into the backlines of Jahuni and was not able to do much. Not to mention Blaster 828 got locked down and had to blow his barrier. Or actually, no, not his barrier. He had a lot of focus onto him, and that caused everyone to have to peel for him, except for Deanbot, who was in the backlines by himself and actually ended up giving his life over to Jahuni very early in that team fight. Did not dish out as much damage as he possibly could have, as he has been in these team fights. So it was actually more misplayed by Weekend Twerk than it was played right by Final Boss and company. But with that being said, it bought Final Boss and company some time, and they'll live to fight another day. They're going to be just farming minions as much as possible because that's really all they can do right now. Kale, to her credit, Takchi is actually farming pretty decently. Has the second highest farm in the game right now at 173. Has the second highest gold on their team compared to Metal Chocobo, who's just been in the fights of everything right now. 5-4-2 on Metal Chocobo. But trying his best to transition into this mid to late game, trying to get that mid-game power of Kale to show here on the Rift. Does have the Gnasher's Tooth and Zanyas right now, but really nothing else to follow it up. Won't really be seeing that huge Kale burst until he gets that Lich Bane. And even with the Lich Bane rework, they did kind of nerf it a little bit, but even on Kale, it's still very powerful. Either way, 4 men strong from Weekend Twerk in this mid lane. Small Brawly making his way over there to make it 5 men. We're going to go in onto this mid lane turret, or mid lane inhibitor. I keep saying turret, not sure why. It is an inhibitor. So it's kind of a stalemate right now. I would assume Weekend Twerk is they're a little bit paranoid to engage so heavily like they did last time. They actually did not go in their favor. Baron's going to be up in about 13 seconds. So this is actually being very well played from Weekend Twerk. They're around clearing out wards as much as possible, and that's leaving no vision on Baron for... oh, there's Talisman Ascension being popped. And an engagement coming out. There's a tidal wave going out, and Small Brawly destroys Jahuni. His health bar got melted, so that's ADC down for Final Boss and company. Metal Chocobo giving a double kill over to Small Brawly. His power is enormous right now. Yes, Seraph Embrace, pops Seraph Embrace, gets a triple kill, and actually a quadra kill. That is a clean ace. 5-for-0 in favor of Weekend Twerk. The massive amount of power coming out from Small Brawly, way too much for Final Boss and company, and that actually might be game. There are very low death timers on Final Boss and company. Jahuni's going to be up in just a moment. We'll see if they can if he can get over there. Yeah, Small Brawly with that Void Staff. Actually, yeah, they're looking to. Yeah, they're gonna close this one out. Teleport being used by Small Brawly. This is the second game. This is the best of 2 games in a row, best of 3, going over to Weekend Twerk. And for that, they are the winners of Esports High's Spring League of Legends tournament, and they are the winners of the grand finals here.